Welcoming you to gentle yoga today. Today we're going to get started in our seated posture. So finding a way to sit that feels comfortable for you, and that might mean sitting in a chair today, sitting on a block or two. If sitting in those ways doesn't feel comfortable for you, feel free to lie down. This is your practice, and I am here as a guide only. You are your own best teacher. Okay, so coming into our upright seated posture, and just beginning to settle in. Beginning to settle in here. Welcome you, Helena. We'll say hi after glance. So noticing just the way that it feels to sit this morning. Right? We might have a lot going on. So practicing some stillness can feel challenging in and of itself. Finding a way to sit that feels stable, knowing you can shift that at any time if you feel uncomfortable. So we're going to work with Ujjayi Breath to get started. But before we do, I'd like to do a little bit of basic breath awareness. So if you would, feel free to soften your gaze down or close your eyes and begin to feel the flow of your breath traveling in and out of the nostrils. Nice and easy. Maybe this is the first breath that you've noticed in a while. You guys can hear me okay? Good. All right, so just noticing the breath, breathing in and out of the nostrils. If you're feeling really overheated this morning, maybe you already did a lot, you could exhale through the mouth. Kind of let off some of that steam. And just arriving in whatever state of being you're in. Here to take care of yourself for the next hour. Yeah. That's good, Helena. Doing what you need for your own self-care this morning. And if it feels good to just sit and breathe like so, you can continue to do so. If you'd like to explore Ujjayi Breath with me, I'll give you a little bit of a reminder because I think we've probably already learned this already at some point. It's just breath with sound. It's also called victorious breath. And it's so sort of ubiquitous, I like to say, in my own practice that sometimes I forget to teach it. So always a reminder during our sessions to teach Ujjayi Breath because it is a great way to stay present. So we'll practice Ujjayi Breath with the mouth open and work towards closing the mouth. It's kind of like fogging up a mirror with your breath or a window with your breath. That light constriction of the back of the throat. So try this with me. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, fog up your mirror. Inhale. Exhale. And just kind of notice what that feels like in the throat. What kind of shape is made with the throat as you fog up the mirror with your breath. And then maybe transition or progress towards doing that with the mouth closed. You can't hear me as well, but it's only you that needs to hear you. And maybe breathing in with that same throat shape. And it's like sipping your air through a straw. And we're not forcing it or pushing it. It should be gentle control is what we're looking to do, gentle control. And the idea behind this victorious breath, oceanic breath, breath with sound, is simply to keep us anchored in the present with this sound. The best friend is your breath, right? And I like to think of it as the sound of, my 10,000 fans cheering for me for taking care of myself. Because sometimes it takes a lot to remember to take care of myself. So we'll just practice 5 Ujjayi breaths in a row, inhaling, exhaling, softening your gaze or closing the eyes, and just breathing at your own pace, seeing if you can get the feel of this ocean breath. Another good thing that Ujjayi breath does is warm the body from the inside. As the days start to get cooler, Ujjayi breath is a wonderful way to begin your practice. And so if you're taking your 5 breaths, great. If you want to take a few more breaths, great. Maybe you're ready to move a little bit, so we could tuck the chin, lift the head up and back, gently moving and exploring. As we move through today's session, we'll see what the practice of yoga does to transform our state of being. Right? So we checked in at the beginning with ourselves. We noticed how we were feeling. We noticed our energy levels. We noticed our stress levels. And now we're going to move through breathing and moving and seeing what that does to all of that. Maybe you tip an ear towards the shoulder, other ear, other shoulder. And I'll invite you to use Ujjayi breath throughout the practice if it's coming easily to you. Maybe rolling the head in a circular fashion. And the other direction. And I might just rub my hands together and reach up and give myself a little neck massage. Yeah, that's good. All right, so today we're going to do something a little differently here. We're going to just briefly come to hands and knees. Really briefly, you could pad up under the knees if need be. We're just going to do a couple rounds of cat-cow. Right, so you're just arching and rounding the back. Normally we would move through a whole bunch of stuff on the hands and knees. Today we're going to kind of circumnavigate that and get to some standing postures right away. Get the fire moving. But good to warm up the spine a little bit before doing so. And then if it's okay with my knees, I might balance on my knees really briefly. And I'm just stepping 1 foot forward, tucking the back toe under, and rising up to stand. Right, so coming to our standing posture a little sooner than we're used to doing. And I'm going to find my statuesque mountain pose. Right, so doing whatever you need to do to reset, grabbing whatever you need. It's all good. It's all good. So I'm going to take a peek down at my feet and lift up all my toes, spread them nice and wide, plant them back down again. Lifting all 10 toes, spread them nice and wide, plant them back down. See if you can press the big toes down, little toes lift, little toes down, big toes lift. Maybe this is no problem for you. Maybe the feet are saying, you want me to what? So over time, we kind of, lose some of the dexterity in our toes and our feet. So important for the foundation of balance. And then maybe we'll just come back to what feels like neutral. And I'm just going to rise up onto my tiptoes and release back down. If I need to hold on to something for support, making sure I feel safe, number one. Right? These calf raises are like an everyday type of thing. Every day, a little bit of this goes a long way. That's good. So maybe you can involve the arms if that would feel freeing. Inhaling, lifting. Exhaling, releasing. Maybe it's just one arm lifting. Good. Breathing in. Breathing out. Is there Ujjayi breath in your life? Maybe there's an exhale out of the mouth. Good. Let's take 3 more. Nice and slow, moving gracefully. It's good, Helena. And 1 more. Good, and then we'll float our way back down and bring a little bit extra space between the feet, not too much. I'm just gonna roll my shoulders up, back and down. Roll the shoulders up, back and down. Just rinsing the shoulders. Taking some of the weight of the world off my shoulders. And I tend to carry a lot of tension here. Don't know about you, but I'm guessing if you're human, this is where you have tension. And why is that? Why do we carry so much tension in our shoulders? It's pretty much the way we hold our heads, right? So if you notice that you're typically standing and your head is forward, which a lot of us do, you know, we do this, we look down. It's such an effort to bring the neck into alignment. So let's take some chin tucks, right? I'm gonna reach my chin forward and then I'm gonna bring my chin back. Reach my chin forward, bring my chin back. A couple times like that. Yeah, and I always feel like, you know, this might be the beginning of a dance video. Nice. All right, and then maybe there's a little movement, you wanna go side to side. Just maybe there's a circular movement. Oh yeah, Helena, I'm digging that. Yeah, got a lot of good movement in there. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna lift both arms up. I got a little extra space between my feet and I'm just gonna begin to flick imaginary water off the end of my fingertips. Right, so my arms are nice and straight, my shoulders are softening, but I still have effort in them. And I'm gonna get faster with my flicks. And the idea here is to kind of warm up the upper body. And this easy little motion over time gets a lot harder, right? As we're holding it up, if you feel like you've reached your end, you can stop. But I might do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release down. Let the arms dangle. Find your breath. Good, and then we're gonna bring the hands up again and do some swishes with the wrists. Maybe you're visualizing letting go of something that is not healthy for you. I think I announced on social media anyway, if you're friends with me, that I have a year of not drinking alcohol. It sort of started as this, it started as this support of a friend who was going through something, and I was like, I'll do it with you. Sober October became, you know, non-alcoholic November and so on, and then here I am a year later. I let go of that. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I feel pretty good about that. Yeah, it's been good for my practice, been good for my meditation practice, for clarity. All right, so now I'll bring my arms out to the sides, take up lots of space. Maybe you can hug the arm muscles along the bones, take a breath in, and give yourself a hug, one arm on top, doesn't matter which one, just remember which one it is. And then we'll open wide, maybe the chest bursting forward, and then other arm on top, give yourself a hug. Good, inhale, arms open. Now this time we're gonna bring that one arm on top. We're gonna get the elbows nestling together, and then we'll see how it would feel to maybe bring the backs of the forearms closer together. That's good. So just one bind here for our beginning of eagle arm pose. The elbows lift and we take a breath in. That's good now. And then open wide. Bring the opposite arm on top and elbows nestling. And see how this side feels to bring the backs of the forearms towards each other. This side could be easier, could be more challenging. Good, and then we're releasing out of that. And once again, rolling the shoulders. Good, and now I'm gonna lift my right arm up, bend my elbow, give myself a pat on the back. That left arm can travel up and over and grab the elbow, maybe. Right, and I'm just working towards breathing into this stretch. If I had a little side bend in me, I might side bend to the left. And then I'm releasing to center and switching sides. So left arm traveling up, elbow bending. Give yourself a pat on the back just for coming to yoga today, live yoga, right? And then if you're here with the recording, great job too. Maybe a little side bend to the right. Oh, that's a good stretch, yeah? And coming back to center and releasing everything. So now I feel like my upper body is kind of a little bit looser, a little bit warmer. Let's move through some spinal rinses together. So taking care if you have osteoporosis or back issues that you might not round forward all the way. So you could keep a flat back. I'm gonna inhale from my mountain pose, my arms out and up. Exhale, fold forward, nice and slow. Maybe a soft bend to the knees. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold again. Inhale, arms rise, out and up. Palms press to heart center. Good, let's do that again. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, swan dive forward, soft bend to the knees. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms rise, out and up. Exhale, hands to heart center. And last one, breathing in, arms rise. Breathing out, swan dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Inhale, arms rise, out and up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Good, so now I'm gonna take a chair pose. I'll bring my feet about hips width distance apart. And I'm just gonna bend my knees a little bit to see how that feels. Some of us are caring for knee issues. So maybe you keep a little bit of a micro bend more rather than like a deep full bend. But if you want a little more, you could come down a little bit farther and really kind of stick that bum out there. And I'm pushing my feet away from each other. Yeah, and Vicky beat me to the punch. She's got her arms reaching out, right? And maybe we could send each other in our yoga class a little bit of perseverance, tenacity through this pose. We take a breath in. Give me some fire out the mouth. Good. And beautiful. And I'm going to inhale my arms up. Maybe the hands come together. I could bring a little extra space between my feet. And I'm going to take a side bend to one side and the other. Nice and slow. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. Good. And then I'll release my hands down. I'm going to come back into my chair pose and we'll do a little chair flow here. So I'm going to come to chair pose and my arms are going to be down behind me, you know, like I'm hurtling through space here. I'm going to inhale, straighten everything. Exhale, sink back down into my chair pose, sweep the arms back. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bring the arms down, sweep the arms back, and one more, inhale. And exhale, sweep the arms down, and then we'll come back to mountain pose. Take 3 breaths in your mountain pose. It's like I wanna be the yoga therapist who has the prescription. Take 3 breaths and call me in the morning, honey. Okay? Seriously, it's the recipe for everything. It's the reset for everything. Okay. So let's go ahead and move into some postures. I'm going to bring my right foot forward and my left foot back into my warrior 1. We do this pretty much every time we meet, and it's just such a grounding, solid posture. So Larry, see what feels best for you. We got the right foot forward, left foot back, but you do you. Right? Maybe I bend and straighten into this front knee a little bit, oiling up the joint. And then today I'm going to hook my thumbs in front of the body and lift the arms up. Let's see if I could take 3 breaths here. You can always kind of lengthen and deepen your stance, pulling the belly towards the spine. 1 more breath. That's good. And then I'll bring my hands down and shorten my stance a little bit. Both legs are straight. Today I'm going to rest my hands on the flat of my back. Take a breath in, and as I exhale, reach forward with the heart. And I'm trying to keep my shoulder blades kind of knitting together towards each other. Strong in both legs. That's good, Barbara. You can take a gaze down at that right toe. Only go as far as feels safe. And then we're coming back up. Nice and slow. Hands come to heart center. And we're going to take a small slow step to the top of your mat. That's good. And then we'll switch sides. Left foot forward, right foot back. Bending into that left knee. Hips are kind of sort of pointed to the top of the mat. And then we'll hook the opposite thumb on top and lift the arms up. Now pulling the belly towards the spine, rounding down through the feet and breathing. Find your breath. That's good, Larry. I like this version a lot. Still feeling the strength. Beautiful, Helena. And then we're releasing the hands down and shortening the stance. Taking the hands to the flat of the back. You can see I'm just resting my hands here. And that's keeping my chest open as I dip forward, bowing over my left foot. Right, maybe you can go a lot lower, right? And that's great. For me, I get back strengthening as well as a hamstring stretch when I stay a little bit more lifted. But you might be looking for more of a stretch, and that's cool too. Nice, Vicky. And coming up nice and slow, I'll bring my hands to heart center, and I'll be putting the weight into my left foot as I slowly step up to mountain pose. Beautiful. And then let's take a little hip rotation break. So feet are a little wider than hips width distance, and I'm circling like I have a slow motion hula hoop. One direction and the other direction. I'm just noticing. All right. So, feeling like I need a little fire in my belly today. I'm going to do, I don't even know what to call these, but it's literally just picking one leg up at a time. So I'm going to pour the weight. I'll start with the weight in my right foot, and I'm going to be lifting my left leg. And I like to do this with my hands at heart center. And I'm just touching down and lifting up. That's it. And if you need support of a wall, that's there. And you can feel the work that this takes in your whole core muscle area and in the hip flexor. Right? So maybe that's good. And we'll try the other side. Little bend in that left knee as you pick up the right leg. This side could feel different. That's good, Larry. Breathing, really getting that knee up high now, that looks good. And then releasing down. So I will take my wall now and give myself a little quad stretch, right? So before we go for holding on to the foot, you will just bring your hand back there and see what it would feel like to kick the foot towards the hand, right? So we're getting a stretch in the quad, but we're also strengthening the hamstring. Does that make sense? Yeah. And then if the foot is available and you want to take a quad stretch, you can take that. And I'm going to relax into it today. I'm not going to force it. I'm just going to, yeah, that's good, Barbara. And then releasing and switching sides. So taking hold of the wall, and I'm just going to be kicking my left foot up towards my hand or my bum. So I'm getting a hamstring stretch, a hamstring strengthening and a quad stretch. And then when you're ready, maybe if it's available, you could hold on to the ankle, right? It might not be available, and that's okay. You could grab onto your legging. Yep, good, Barbara. Breath in, softening, relaxing, and release. All right, so I'm feeling, my hips have gotten a little bit of lubrication from all of that. So we're gonna kind of tie some of these things together. Let's go ahead and come to the top of your mat. The hands can be at heart center. I'll start to bring the weight into my right foot, and I'm just gonna lift my left leg up and see if I could step back into a high lunge foot shape, right? And we're gonna lean forward and try that again, right? So weight will come in the right foot, lift the left leg, step back. It might take a couple steps to get there, and that's fine. And we're gonna stay here in our high lunge. Okay, so with the high lunge, now I'll inhale my arms up, straighten the front leg. Exhale, hands to heart center, bend to the right knee. It's good. Inhale, lift. Exhale, sink, back heel's lifted. One more, inhale, lift. Exhale, sink. And then I'm going to very carefully begin to tip myself forward and lift this left foot up and release it down. Nice job, guys. All right, so let's try that on the other side. Weight will come into the left foot. I'm going to pick up my right leg and gently step back to my high lunge. And I'm going to do that again, stepping forward, releasing down. The side could feel different. Lift that right leg up, tip back, step back to your high lunge. Get your foundation moving, and then we'll inhale the arms up, straighten the front leg. Exhale, sink into your lunge. Could be a really short stance, and that's fine. Inhale, lift, straighten. Exhale, sink down. And one more inhale. That's good. Exhale, and I'm going to think about tipping forward and lifting my right leg up and planting it down. Really nice, guys. And I might take a couple more bum kicks here just to kind of loosen things up a little bit. How you guys doing? Feeling okay? Yeah. We got a lot of warriors in the class today. Really loving seeing this. All right, so let's take a little balance beam break. Not really a break, is it? I'm going to bring my feet together. And I'll step my right foot in front of my left, heel to toe. And I might need to hold on to something for this. Right, so if I get here and I'm already feeling a little shaky, that's totally normal. Got a soft bend to both knees. I'm not going to walk, I'm going to stay static, but I am going to move my eyes. So I move my eyes to the right, to center, and to the left. And maybe back and forth one more time. Right, if you fall out of it, great, that means you're working. You want to improve, and the only way to do so is to experience that edge. All right, nice job, guys. Coming to balance beam on the other side. I start with my feet together, then I'll step my left foot heel to toe in front of the right. A little soft bend to both knees, weight in both feet. And this time I'm gonna lift my eyes only up and then down. Don't forget to breathe. Good, and then coming back to your mountain pose. and walking it out a little bit. Wonderful, wonderful. All right, so we're going to do one more little balancy thing. And I'm going to start this way. So I got the weight in my right foot, my hands to heart center. I'm going to pick up my left leg. And I could hold here. This might be enough just to stay here in this hold. Or I could open my arms to the sides and start to twist to the left. Twisting to the left. Right? See if that would work for you, and you could even try to peek back at the left thumb. Maybe bring the gaze to the right thumb. And then slow, come back to center. Hands to heart center and release down. Really nice job, guys. Really nice. Let's try the other side. Weight in the left foot. Pick up the right leg. Right, this side could feel different. Maybe you want to just stay working with this, or you could open the arms out to the sides. Take a slow twist to the right. Feeling the core working. It's good, Vicky. Maybe you peek over that right shoulder towards the right thumb, and maybe on this direction you don't quite get to see it, and that's okay. Peeking ahead to that left thumb and turning back to center and release. All right, really nice, guys. Thank you for playing with me this morning. Always feels like after that I might need another hamstring stretch, another quad stretch. I keep getting these two muscle groups confused. Right, so when I come into my quad stretch, let's see if I can just relax into it rather than push it. Just kind of let the joints loosen. And when you're ready to switch sides, other side. So this has been a lot on the hips. Hope your hips are feeling okay, Vicky. Yeah. And then let's come back to neutral. Go ahead and take a sip of water if you need it. A sip of coffee if you're still drinking coffee. We're getting ready to do some wide-legged postures. So I'll bring my feet to a nice wide shape here. And they used to say, measure your arms out to the sides and make sure that your ankles are under your wrists. And I would encourage that and teach that. And then I would see students doing this, and with various leg lengths and arm lengths, some of it felt like a little too much for some students. So you could try it, get there, and see how it feels. And I'm just going to bring my hands back down to my hips. I'll bring the right foot to the right. Angle the left foot in. I think you know where we're going. I'm going to bend into my right knee. And I might straighten my right knee and bend into my right knee. And I'm kind of zipping up my core and lifting my arms out to the sides. Beautiful. And gazing over that right hand, I honor the power within me. That's your intention I'm going to drop for you today. I honor the power within me, the power to transform. With my breath, hugging the muscle along the bones, so good for bone strengthening. A lot of you are interested in that. And then I'm going to flip my right hand and reverse the warrior, straightening my right leg to give my right leg a little breather and reaching back. I'm feeling this length in my right side body. And then releasing back to neutral, hands to the hips. We're just going to turn all 10 toes to the side and switch sides. So left toes to the left, angle the right foot in, sink into the left knee. I'm zipping up my core and opening my wings equally in both directions. Could always take a peek back at that left arm, see where it is. Yeah, and Barbara, I like what you're doing there. Looks good. If your shoulder feels, tender today, you could flip that right hand up. Yeah, see how that does. And then we'll bring the gaze over that left hand. I honor the power within me to stay in the shape for another 3 breaths. Breathing. Good, and then we're going to flip that left hand, reversing the warrior, straightening that left leg, and painting the ceiling. Big breath in. And releasing back, and slowly finding all 10 toes to the side of the mat. I might shorten my stance a little bit here as I move into a wide-legged forward fold. So I'm going to take a breath in. Exhale, reach the heart forward, folding forward to whatever degree feels safe. Maybe the hands sliding down the legs. Maybe you could lift your kneecaps. Kind of get that quad engaged. And I could stay lifted with a flat back. And I'm getting the back strengthening portion of this, as well as the hamstring and opening, hip opening. Or I could come down a little farther if I want more of a stretch. It just depends on what I'm looking for today. There is no right way. And then we're traveling back up nice and slow. Good, I'm going to shorten my stance even more. I'll turn my right toes to the right and angle my left foot in even more than I did with my warrior two. So we're moving into triangle pose. And I'm just going to start with my left hand on my left hip and my right arm out to the side. And I'm just going to pretend I'm a little teapot, pouring myself out directly over my right toe. And I could even take a peek down. And I want to keep my shoulders in line, with my legs, with my hips. And you might even want to sing the little song to yourself. You know the one I mean, right? This might be all you feel like doing today with triangle. If you feel a pretty good stretch here, you might want to tip forward and then extend the right arm down the leg. Notice what happens with this left hip. Does the left hip want to curl forward a little bit? Do you want to reach down a little farther? Maybe that left arm traveling up towards the ceiling? Right? The gaze could stay down, the neck relaxed. Right? Or you could look up, which is the more traditional way of doing triangle pose. Breath in, breath out. And then we're slowly traveling up, bringing our teapot upright. And then we'll switch sides. So left toes to the left, angling that right foot in quite a bit. Right hand on my right hip. And I'm pouring my teapot out over my left foot. Right, I'm going to see if I can keep this right shoulder back. Right, it wants to curl forward. I want to keep it back. And, maybe I'm just too much of a tea lover, but I just love the teapot analogy. So maybe now if I felt comfortable doing so, I could bring my left hand down. It's just somewhere on my leg. It could be the thigh. Right? So Barbara, you could come up a little bit. And that way, you can feel a longer torso. I might come down to wherever I feel good, maybe that right arm reaching. And I'm peeking down at my toes or I'm gazing up. Just depends what you're looking for. Taking a breath in, breath out, and then slowly coming back up. All right, and we're just gonna walk it out. That's good, Vicki. Walking it out. We've done a lot of standing poses today, so it is time to start doing some seated and reclining poses to wind our class down. We have a full 20 minutes left, so what I'd like to do is make sure that you get a really decent Savasana today. It's so important. Just want to give you that little reward is coming, right? Okay, so how am I going to get down? safely. Staggering my 1 foot back. Yeah, if there's any other standing stuff you want to do while we're standing, go for it. I'm going to drop my back knee down, come to balance on both knees really briefly, and then sink onto the floor. Make any changes you need to your camera angle, or grab a sip of the water if you need it. I don't know how my mat always moves around so much. All right. So I've got my feet straight out in front of me in Dandasana pose. And this pose is actually quite difficult. So I'm going to envision that I'm, zipping up my core muscles, like maybe tightening the corset. Thank God I don't have to wear a corset. I'm born into an age when we don't have those, thankfully. And I'm going to sit up nice and tall. Arms are at the sides, just lightly touching down, but if you need extra support, you could always bring the hands behind you. And seeing if I can practice some stillness here and find my Ujjayi breath, 3 breaths. Good, and then I'll bring my legs apart a little bit into a V shape. V for victory. Let's see how this feels. You might need to support this. I know there's a student who will be watching the recording later who might need to use this support behind to sit up tall. You might have a little bandwidth here to move to get that really nice wide-legged forward fold stretch. So there are a couple ways you could do this. You could be really active in your legs, or you could maybe more hang out and make it more of a yin posture. I like them both. They both have a different effect. The yin shape is more effective towards stretching the connective tissue. We hold it a longer time. Whereas if you're active, like you're lifting your heels, the kneecaps are lifted, the muscles are getting more of a stretch. So Kristen, thinking of you here with this particular stretch. You could do this in front of the TV at night, right? Working towards just noticing where you are in this shape now and seeing, treating yourself as that science experiment. Can I affect a change? If my goal is hip opening and hamstring lengthening, can I affect a change by practicing something like this regularly? All right, let's come up. Enough chit chat. I'm going to bring my feet in front of me and bend my knees. Moving towards a boat pose today. I'll grab onto the backs of my thighs. And this might be enough for me to just sit like this, especially if I find myself rounding forward. Right, so I'm just going to keep my heart lifted and see what it would feel like to lift one foot and then the other foot. Right, and as I do so, I might begin to explore balancing on the area just above my tailbone, right? So I'm kind of leaning back, and then maybe both feet lift and hang out there for a moment, zipping up your core muscles. You could stay with the hands on the backs of the legs, or you might bring the arms forward. We might take 2 breaths together. Stick the tongue out if it's helpful. And then I'm releasing down, bringing the soles of the feet together, letting the knees drift apart. If this doesn't come easily to you, like for example, if it's too much pressure on the knees, you could bring the feet out a little farther away from the body. Yeah. And then we can work towards, rather than just kind of forcing this, we can actually work towards strengthening this. I'm going to place my left hand down and my right hand can press into my thigh. And I'm going to push my leg up into my hand as I press down. So I feel quite a bit of action there. And it's good for all those little muscles surrounding the hips, right? And then I'll come back to the other side, place that left hand, and have that conversation between the leg and the hand. That little push in both directions, a little resistance. And then you might come back center and see if maybe there's a little bit farther to travel after doing that. Beautiful, guys. All right, so now I'll bring my right foot inside my left leg. If this feels like too much on the knee, Barbara, you can keep both legs straight for this, okay? Same with you, Helena. If I had a strap nearby and I like practicing with a strap for this particular pose, if I have difficulty reaching the foot, I might go ahead and just create a loop with the strap. And then I'm going to reach forward and fold forward to whatever degree feels safe. If you don't, have a strap, you can just grab onto whatever is available. Could be the shin. Maybe you can reach the foot and that's great. Maybe you want to care for your back by keeping a flat back. This feels like a big stretch. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. One more breath in. And then we're walking our way up. Really nice, guys. I'm going to turn my right knee to face the sky. Taking the strap to the side. I'm going to measure a little bit of distance between the foot and the thigh. And my goal will be to twist to the right, but I'm going to try to use all my tummy muscles to do so. So taking a big breath in. Exhale, use those muscles to twist you to the right, and then you can grab onto the knee and place the right hand down behind you. Sitting up super tall, notice what you're doing with your head. Are you leaning forward with your head to try to get more into it? See if you can maybe bring the chin level with the earth. And this will actually give you more length, which will give you more ringing out, if that makes any sense. So peeking over that right shoulder, maybe the eyes even moving as far to the right as they can. Slowly releasing back to center. Nice job, guys. Let's try those same two poses on the other side. So left foot inside the right thigh. Grabbing your strap, if that is how you're practicing today. And reaching forward, folding forward. Not in any hurry to get to some final destination here. It's all just sensation. That's good. Finding those 3 breaths. Not pushing past discomfort. We want this healthy stretching sensation to be in the belly of the muscle, never near the insertion points. Not never, but good. I'm coming back up nice and slow. I'll turn my right knee to face the sky. Bring a little space between my foot and my thigh. And get ready to twist. So I'm thinking about my abdominal muscles. I'm going to take a breath in. And then wringing everything out to the left, twisting to the left. And my right leg stays engaged here, like a good foundation. As I peek over that left shoulder, maybe my eyes shift to the left. One more big breath. And then we're coming back to center nice and slow. And then we'll come to lie on the back. So taking care to get anything you might need as we begin to wind down. We'll have a few more things on the back, and then we'll do a 5-minute Savasana, okay? So go ahead and get all those things you might need so you don't have to scramble around later. By all those things, I mean a pillow under the head, I mean something under the knees. We're going to do a few more. That's good, Barbara. Standing by, pillows standing by. And then I'll come to rest on my back with my knees bent. That's good now, already there, active rest pose. If you need a little neck support, you can have that here. I'm just going to rest my hands on my belly. And I'll begin to tilt my pelvis forward and back. So I'll start by pressing the belly button down into the earth, effectively erasing my lumbar curve. And then I'm going to lift the belly button up and accentuate the lumbar curve. So maybe somebody could slide a hand underneath my low back. And I'm just going to move back and forth. I'm never lifting my hips up off the earth. I'm just tilting forward and tilting back. Yeah, that's good, Helena. It's a really subtle movement and so good for back health and good for SI joint health to kind of reset. Maybe you could find your breath. Inhale, lift the belly. Exhale, press down. As you inhale, see if you can fill up the belly. Like really like a balloon. And I might take one more pelvic tilt. Good. And then I'll go ahead and see if I can grab my strap. You have a strap nearby. And we're going to hook up the right foot into that strap. And if you don't have a strap, you can use just any old thing, even a towel. So I've got my right foot into the strap. And option to press the left leg long or keep the knee bent. Totally up to you. And I'm not forcing this. Right, but I could soften my shoulders. Find my breath. And keep that low back pressing down into the earth. Now I'll take my strap into my right hand, open my left arm out to the left, and slowly guide my right foot to the right, opening my hip to the right. That left leg stays solid and strong, and then you might bring the elbow, the right elbow down like a kickstand. So opening that right leg out to the right. And I'm really staying engaged with this left leg. So I can feel this foundation, this stretch between the legs. Breath in, breath out. Good. Slowly make your way back to center, and you could cross the midline of the body for a couple breaths here. My low back is pressing down. I'm not lifting my hip up off the earth. It's a great IT band stretch. And then coming back to center, I'll simply step my left foot up into the loop and switch sides. That right leg could stay bent, or you could press the right leg long. Totally up to you, whatever feels stabilizing. Strong through that right leg. I'm going to take some breaths here. Pulling that right leg towards me, and I could even push back the foot into the strap as well, so there's even more happening. That's good now. I see you have affected a change over time with the flexibility of your hamstrings. And then we're going to release the strap into just the left hand, the right arm coming to the right, and slow open the left leg to the left. Left elbow can come down like a kickstand. And for some reason, I always notice I'm just much more open and flexible on this side. So I know I could probably hold my other side longer. Strong through the right leg. Find your breath. So the strap stretches are a great thing you can do before you go to bed at night. They're really good for insomnia. I'm thinking you, Kristen, right? You say you want this opening in the hips and the hamstring stretch. These would be the two most perfect things to do before bed as a self-care routine. Come on back to center. Cross the midline of the body. I have all kinds of ideas for what you can do, right? But I know time is short. We'll come back to center. And release the strap altogether. A little bend to the knees. Take out the neck support if you've had it, and we'll move towards our final shape here today, our bridge pose. So taking that neck support out, feet are hips width distance apart. If you like, you can always take a block between the thighs. I really like this as a way for igniting my practice, transforming my practice, adding layers of engagement. I'll drive my upper arms down into the earth and lift my chest. My fingertips are pointed towards the ceiling. And then I'll lift my hips and push with the low back, middle back, and upper back. You can wriggle the shoulders, get a little higher. If there's another way you like to practice bridge pose, you could do it, such as interlacing the fingers underneath the body. You might take a breath or two. And then when you're ready to release, you can lift the arms up overhead and slowly descend. Slowly descend. Take the block out if you've been practicing with one. Walk the feet out to the width of the mat and loosely wash the knees from side to side. Maybe you'd like to linger on one side or the other. And then you can make any other movements the body's asking for. Maybe hugging the knees into the chest, finding a happy baby, maybe making a little spinal twist. We didn't hit the spinal twist as we normally do, but we did do a really good twist. And then we'll make our way towards Savasana. Right, so finding all those supports you need, a pillow under the head, something under the knees. Just wiggling and swiggling and letting go of the body for the next few minutes. Right, as we find final relaxation pose. Staying in your Shavasana and practicing stillness. It's a little bit easier after we've worked the body. Relaxing into your Shavasana. Can you let go of holding effort in the shoulders and the jaw? And you allow the face to drain of any expression. And you let the legs be heavy, the feet be heavy. Allow the whole imprint of the body to soften into the earth, soften into the support below. Coming back into the body, knowing that you can always stay in this pose a little longer if you need it. And licking the lips, swallowing, wiggling the fingers and toes, and at your own gentle pace. After all, this is gentle yoga. Coming to roll on the side, coming to sit. Just joining me here in seated posture. Noticing the effects of your practice on your state of being. Noticing the small transformations that occur when we come to the mat. What are the adjectives you would use to describe how you feel after a yoga session, after today's yoga session? And we'll close our practice today with the sound and vibration of one single Om. You can listen or join in. Inhaling for Om. Thanking you so much for your practice today. Namaste.